Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you into coverage of East Coast Conference playoff basketball, streaming exclusively on Flow College. In their first ever Division II home playoff game, the College of Staten Island Dolphins host the Red Hawks of Roberts Wesleyan University. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, joined on the call by Nicholas Pavona. And for the final time during the 2025-26 basketball season, we welcome you in to the McDonald's pregame show. McDonald's is our scoreboard sponsor here at the College of Staten Island, and they bring you our pregame coverage ahead of every CSI Dolphins home game. And Nick, the Dolphins have now reached the postseason each of the last 4 years. And for the second consecutive season, they opened the conference playoffs against Roberts Wesleyan University. In 2025, the Dolphins earned their first Division II playoff victory when they knocked off the Red Hawks in Rochester. Tonight, it's CSI with the home court advantage as the tank is home to playoff basketball for the first time in the Division II era of CSI athletics.
Well, first and foremost, Joe, glad to have you back in person for this week's edition. And what a game we have here tonight. You know, the Red Hawks, a sixth-seeded team in the ECC, taking on the number 3 seed CSI. We just saw this matchup most recently a couple weeks ago here at the tank, where the Dolphins able to hold on in that game, winning by 11, 85-74. A great back-and-forth contest going into the second half. CSI pulled out of that game late and got the victory. But now you wipe all the records off the table, Joe. It's playoff time for these two teams. One team trying to get to the semifinals of the ECC tournament with a matchup against Stack, while the other is going to be going home. So for these teams, try to avoid going home today. That's the goal mindset coming into tonight's matchup. Where else would you rather be than here tonight at the tank?
Nowhere else, Nick, and for me, it is good to be back. I had quite the lengthy road trip back on Staten Island tonight for today's game, and should either the men or the women win this evening, it could be back on the road Friday as well, up to Buffalo for the conference semifinals. But we'll talk more about that a bit later, as this game between the Dolphins and the Red Hawks is one of 2 games on the slate for men's basketball tonight. Also tipping off at 7 p.m. will be the number 4 seeded Malloy University Lions and the number 5 seed Deauville University Saints. The winner of that game faces Damon University in the semifinal, and the winner of this game advances to face St. Thomas Aquinas College. We also have 2 women's games on the schedule, as I touched on already. That includes CSI women's basketball visiting Deauville. It's a big night for CSI basketball, but for this CSI men's team, what do they need to do to make it a 3rd straight appearance in the conference semifinal?
Well, I think it's 2 things, Joe, that come to mind for me when it comes to this CSI team. A couple times this season, we've seen them get off to a couple slow starts offensively. So I think that's one key point they have to avoid in this game, because Roberts Wesleyan is a team that can shoot from the outside as well as CSI. We'll highlight that a little bit later on in the pregame. And the other thing is avoiding the turnovers, which have really plagued CSI in a couple of their games. We saw in their last game against Malloy and really hurt the Dolphins. They weren't able to hold on in that game, but the turnover numbers were a big problem for CSI in that matchup. And in the last meeting with Roberts Wesleyan, that also played a factor into the Red Hawks getting back into that game. The last time these 2 teams met, CSI had an 18-point lead at one point in the first half of that game. The Red Hawks made a run towards the end of the half. Were down as many as 12 going into halftime, and then they carried over that run into the second half and eventually took the lead. And a mixture of poor shooting and turnovers really led to Roberts Wesleyan taking back that lead. But the big key point in that game, Joe, was CSI got back the lead at the halfway point in the second half, and a key technical foul was called on Roberts Wesleyan that really hurt the Red Hawks in that game, because they went from being down 2 to being down 6 because of 4 straight free throws on a free throw shot from J.J. Chestnut. And plus the shooting of Aaron Goldstein down that stretch of that game helped CSI win that one. Roberts Wesleyan was never able to recover. So for CSI, it comes down to 2 things. Got to keep the shooting numbers up that they've seen all season, and they have to avoid turning the ball over tonight.
And let's talk a bit more about this Red Hawks team, as they had to overcome a lot of adversity this season just to make it here. They began the season 1-8 in conference play and saw their push for a playoff spot come down to the final seconds of the regular season. They outlasted a Deauville University team that had nothing to play for on the season's final day to clinch the number 6 seed. And if they had lost that game, they would have been overtaken by a UDC team that really picked up their level of play down the stretch of the regular season. The Redhawks did go 0-2 against the Dolphins this year, but it would be a big mistake to write this team off coming into this matchup tonight. What makes this team a threat to CSI's ultimate goal of a conference championship and NCAA tournament bid?
Well, I think it's what we talked about, earlier on, where this team could shoot with the best in the conference. They're a team that has 4 different players that average double-digit figures on the season. And if CSI gets into a stretch where their offense goes cold, that's where this Redhawks team is going to be able to try and take advantage of in this matchup. In the last meeting, I mentioned it before, they forced a lot of turnovers, a lot of those coming via the half-court pressure in that second half that created turnovers and fast breaks. They also had some really big minutes off of their bench as well, which really helped them get back into that game. So I think for CSI to avoid that happening, as I mentioned, have to avoid the turnovers, but also cannot let themselves get into their heads a little bit, because we already had senior day a couple days ago, Joe, but for these seniors, this is officially now their last home game here tonight. So they have to make sure that all those emotions where, this is your last game at home, but not only that, this could be your last game of your collegiate career, and you're trying to move on to not only the semifinals of the ECC tournament, but you're also trying to make a bid for the NCAA tournament. So there's a lot of emotions going into this game tonight for these two teams. For CSI, they have to make sure that they don't get caught on the wrong side of things, because this Roberts Wesleyan team can be very dangerous despite the record that you say.
And the 2 regular season meetings between the Dolphins and the Redhawks each played out very differently. You touched on some of that already. The first, a commanding CSI victory that came at a time when the Dolphins had just 2 losses in conference play. And those 2 losses were to the eventual top 2 seeds in the playoff bracket in Damon and St. Thomas Aquinas College. The second meeting between the Dolphins and Redhawks saw the Dolphins coming off a stretch where they had lost 3 out of 4, and Roberts had won 4 straight. However, the Dolphins snapped the Redhawks' winning streak and began a win streak of their own as they went on to win the last 3 games of the regular season. Roberts certainly came a long way between the first and second meeting with the Dolphins, and those 2 games were played just 1 month apart. What are your expectations for what this game is going to look like tonight between 2 of the 3 best outside shooting teams in the ECC?
Well, I was expecting a lot of scoring in this game, Joe, because you have 2 of the top premier players in the entire conference. First team All-ECC, Aaron Goldstein. Third All-Team ECC, Colin Woods. 2 of the best players in this conference going toe-to-toe here tonight. Expect a lot of scoring in this matchup, but also expect these defenses to try to force some turnovers, whether that be from that zone pressure that we've seen the Dolphins do at times this season or via the half-court trap. So it could be a mixture of styles in this game, but I'm expecting a lot of high-scoring affair between these 2 teams, as you mentioned, 2 of the top-scoring teams in the country, in this conference, in the terms of the outside shooting. Expect the intensity to be off the charts for not only the players here on the court, but also for the fans that are going to be in attendance here tonight at the Tank.
Plenty more to talk about ahead of tonight's East Coast Conference playoff matchup as we continue our pregame coverage with an extended Buffalo Wild Wings game rewind following this break. When we come back, we take a look at both regular season matchups between CSI and Roberts Wesleyan. But before we do, we'd like to let all of you watching know that the official ECC and Athletic Solutions Championship store is your go-to for all commemorative championship gear. To purchase apparel for championship winners and championship participating schools, visit eccsports.athsolutions.shop. That's eccsports.athsolutions.shop. Check out that online store during this commercial break and stay with us. An extended Buffalo Wild Wings game rewind coming up next.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Joe Foreman and Nicholas Bavona back with you from the College of Staten Island. And Nick, I already mentioned how different the two meetings between these two teams were during the regular season, and there's no better way to demonstrate that than to look back at both sets of highlights. Let's start in Rochester, where the Dolphins earned a decisive win behind one of their best outside shooting performances of the season.
Yeah, certainly was the case right there, Joe. We start things off with that jump shot right there, and then Goldstein finding Joey Poulin on the baseline. Poulin kicks it inside to Kone for the right-handed layup, excuse me.
Good ball movement there, and how about another three? This time it's an AG three.
We'll see an ET three right from the corner.
And here Mitchell Wiggin will find Joey Poulin on this play. Wiggin off the fake, looks to drive, and how about that feed? 3 Redhawks surrounding Poulin. He banks it in.
And we see another AG three from the corner. Been in a great year for him right there.
Asa Kone, strong hands inside, finishes through the contact. Count that basket and the foul.
How about a tough contact once again? It's J.J. Chestnut with that bank shot.
And that's Brandon Torres from downtown, a BT3.
And we'll see right there the left-handed, or the floater off the mark, but it's Torres right there for the putback.
Nice sequence there for Torres with the 3 and the putback. This is Tynes on the pull-up, and he buries it.
We'll see a JP 3 from the top of the arc. He knocks down the triple just in a few seconds because the Dolphins get a couple of opportunities, but might have been off of our.
You know, Nick, I think
we had the same problem last time.
This might have happened last time, but make no mistake
there's Kone on the one-handed
There's a
slip.
throwdown by Asa Kone.
And we'll see Aaron Goldstein step back 3, the first of a couple we'll see in this highlight package.
Well, how about one more coming up shortly? This time, it's an ET3 from downtown.
Okay, another ET3 right there. Tynes knocks down another triple from the top of the arc.
And how about one more from the corner? Both he and Goldstein knocked down 5 threes each in this game. This one gives AG a chance for a 4-point play.
And that last one was another 3, this time from Andrew Bennett. He knocks down that 3. Dolphins get a convincing 20-point win in that game, Joe. But as you mentioned, it was a different contrast of styles compared to the last time these two teams met.
No question about it, Nick. And as I mentioned earlier, the Redhawks were in the midst of a 4-game winning streak last time they met the Dolphins here at the Tank. As for CSI, they came in having lost 3 of 4. And I think it's fair to say that these two teams were trending in very different directions going into the matchup a week and a half ago. But the Dolphins emerged with the hard-fought win and went on to close out the regular season on a 3-game win streak.
And we'll start it off with Eric Tynes getting a really tough fadeaway jumper to get things started for the Dolphins in terms of scoring.
Well, you like to see that, and if you're the Dolphins, you like to see plenty of this. A 3 by Goldstein from the corner.
And we'll see J.J. Chestnut gets that pass from Kone. He goes on the drive, really tough behind the back, and gets the floater to fall.
The finish to the season for J.J. Chestnut. Some of the
best
basketball that he's played in his career.
How about Kone with that left-handed hook shot? Really tough shot for Kone. And then we'll see Eric Tynes on the drive. Another pull-up jump shot for him.
Defenses can't go for those Tynes head fakes. He does not always look to shoot from three. Can get you up in the air and go around you.
Mitchell Wiggin, really tough basket off of the glass. Really tough play for him right there. Someone we've seen emerge in the late, Joe. Michael Oyakami back in for the Dolphins. He gets the putback right there.
And next up, once again, the Dolphins strike from beyond the arc. This time, Oyakami hands off to Goldstein. They gave him too much room, and AG made him pay.
Speaking of giving him a little bit too much room, how about Eric Tynes? Deep from the outside arc. He knocks down a long-range three.
Well, perhaps you could excuse room given back there, but Tynes can certainly make you pay as Chestnut puts that in. Count it, and the foul.
Tynes making it pay once again with another pull-up jump shot off the mark right there. Or on the mark, I should say.
Defense leading to offense. Chestnut to Goldstein for the easy lay-in in transition.
A really tough transition play right there for the Dolphins, and another nice lay-in this time for Joey Poulin.
Dolphins showing off the infinite range. This time it's Aaron Goldstein from way downtown. He knocks down the long triple.
Now how about this pass from J.J. Chestnut finding Oyakami underneath.
That is a great feed by Chestnut. He really did it all down the stretch, dishing, swishing, and rebounding. And how about Andrew Benedict at the spin cycle?
Put him on the spin cycle she mentioned right there. And how about this play for Tynes? Another fadeaway jump shot. As I mentioned, saw a lot of that in that game the last time the two teams met.
We saw a lot of this too. Aaron Goldstein this time given way too much room, knocks down another three.
How about another spin move this time from Mitchell Wiggin? He knocks down the jump shot.
Wiggins so good at that spinning jump shot, and Aaron Goldstein so good from beyond the arc. Another long triple.
How about an AB three this time, Joe? Benedict knocks down the triple.
Dolphins really making their mark from downtown. And when you bury enough threes, Nick, you gain that first step on the drive. This time Goldstein converts through contact.
And speaking of contact, getting a lot of contact right there, gets the post move to get that finish.
His low post game, underrated. I don't think anybody doubts what he can do around the basket when he drives the basketball, however, as once again Goldstein was fouled. That basket counts, and the Dolphins are hoping for a lot more of that here tonight as Aaron Goldstein has played really well in both games against Roberts Wesleyan. If he's on his game, the Dolphins are really tough to beat. But if there's one team in the ECC playing here tonight of the four that are in action that can shoot with the Dolphins, it is certainly this Red Hawks squad. And to write off Roberts Wesleyan ahead of this game would be a huge mistake.
Yeah, no question about it, Joe. We saw a lot of contributors in the last meeting between these two teams here at the Tank that really, as I mentioned, sparked Roberts Wesleyan getting back into that matchup. Jordan Brown had 14 points. Colin Woods, I mentioned earlier, all ECC third team, 13 points and 12 rebounds. He's had a double-double the only two meetings that the Dolphins have had against Roberts Wesleyan this season. You also saw Sumaharo adding 10 points. Khalid Gardner added 14 points. Also look at guys off the bench, you guys like Jaden Lee as well as Jaden Battle. Great contributors off the bench in terms of points that got Roberts Wesleyan back into the game. So you're right, Joe. It would be a mistake for any team to write this Red Hawks team off. CJ Chips spoke about it last time. Despite the records that these teams are showing this season, this Red Hawks team is very dangerous. They could shoot with any team in the conference.
And Nick, before we head to break, a reminder that it is championship season. And remember, it comes with a fully custom ring from Signature Championship Rings, the exclusive ring provider of the ECC. Every design honors your hard work and your team's achievement, preserving your legacy for years to come. Visit signaturechampions.com to start your championship ring design today, because every ECC champion deserves to be celebrated. And finally, the East Coast Conference has partnered with Ticket Sauce, a cutting-edge event ticketing and marketing platform designed to support athletic programs, campus events, and fan engagement as its ticketing platform for all ticketed 2025-26 ECC championships, including in this collaboration are a modern, mobile-friendly ticketing experience, flexible on-site and online ticketing tools, custom branding, and white label support, plus much, much more. Ticket Sauce, a proud partner of the East Coast Conference. And with that, Nick, we remind our audience that these two teams put on a show last time they faced off here at the Tank. Tonight, they go head-to-head for the third time with a spot in the ECC Men's Basketball Championship semifinal on the line. The Dolphins take on the Red Hawks coming up next here on CSI Sportsnet, streaming exclusively on Flow College.
We've learned a lot from him. and we've probably learned more from him than he's learned from us.
I think they're a real important part in my life. I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact is a national nonprofit that connects kids living with serious and chronic illness with college athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes.
Give me a break it! Break it!
Can I have a hug? What's your favorite subject?
Math.
When you spread the word about Team Impact, you have the power to change lives.
Campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
Joe Foreman and Nicholas Bavona back with you as we close in on the introduction of starting lineups ahead of tonight's ECC Men's Basketball Championship first round matchup between the College of Staten Island Dolphins and Roberts Wesleyan University Redhawks. And Nick, as we close in on tip-off, what are some of the matchups to watch tonight as these two teams get set to face one another for the third time this season?
Well, I think the first matchup to watch tonight, Joe, it might be more than obvious, but it's going to be between the two all-ECC selections, Aaron Goldstein and Colin Woods. Goldstein, of course, first-team all-ECC, the leading scorer in the entire conference, averaging 21.4 points per game. Had 27 points at 50% shooting the last time these two teams played. So that's someone that, if you're Roberts Wesleyan, as you mentioned, can't give him space at any point in this game. Have to make sure you can test him along the way. And on the other side of things, Colin Woods, third-team all-ECC this season, averaging 15.3 points per game on the year. That's best for 10th in the conference this season. And he's tied for the team lead in rebounds this year at 5.2 rebounds per game. And in both meetings against CSI, I mentioned this earlier, he's gotten a double-double in the two matches with the Dolphins this season. First meeting, 20 points and 11 rebounds. Second meeting, 13 points and 12 rebounds. So someone on the glass that Roberts Wesleyan is going to need in this game here tonight. And the second match I'm looking at is between the two centers, Asa Kone and Muhammad Sumaharo. The first meeting, Kone had 14 points, just 3 rebounds, Joe. Probably the lowest rebounding mark he's had in the entire season this year, while Sumaharo had 12 points and 6 rebounds. The second meeting, Kone got back to the rebounding department, had 5 points, 14 rebounds, 5 of those on the offensive side, while Sumaharo had 10 points and 7 rebounds. So we've seen the rebounding play factors a lot for CSI this season. For Roberts Wesleyan, that's going to be the crucial deciding factor in this matchup, I believe, because this team right now on the year, they're -7 on the season in that department in terms of rebounding. They need to make sure that even if they lose the rebounding number, it cannot be by a wide margin if they're going to have a shot tonight against the Dolphins.
No question about it, Nick. And before we head to break, we'd like to let our audience know that the East Coast Conference has partnered with Collegiate Travel Network to create ECCtravel.com, a travel booking platform designed to offer new personal and professional lodging options for ECC fans, alumni, and all travelers. The new platform provides hotel discounts up to 50% off with almost all global hotel chains and is customized to help ECC fans, alumni, and all travelers save on lodging expenses. The site offers exceptional consumer value while providing an avenue to financially support the league and its member institutions. So whether you're headed to Lumsden Gymnasium on the campus of Damon University in Amherst, New York, or beyond, visit ECCtravel.com today. And Nick, as I get set to head to Buffalo, I'm going to have to check out ECCtravel.com and book my trip, because those hotels up there get pretty expensive on championship weekend.
Well, we all know how you are with your gear. You like to shop and see what you can, go with your fits throughout the entirety of the season. So I'd be very curious to see what you come out with at the end of the week.
Save on gear, save on hotels. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
You can save on your travel at ECCtravel.com. But as for Nick and I, we will head to break one final time. When we come back on the other side of the national anthem, we will bring you the introduction of starting lineups as the Dolphins take on the Red Hawks in the first round of the 2026 East Coast Conference Men's Basketball Championship.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
We are back from the tank as starting lineups about to be introduced ahead of tonight's East Coast Conference Men's Basketball Championship first-round matchup between Roberts Wesleyan University and the College of Staten Island. And Nick, as starting lineups are introduced for the Red Hawks, you have the lineups for both teams.
We'll start with Roberts Wesleyan, the number 6 seed in the ECC. First, number 1, Jordan Brown. Number 5, Colin Woods. Number 8, Keandre Carter. Number 10, Trey Kleitz. And number 22, Muhammad Sumaharo. For the number 3 seeded College of Staten Island Dolphins, number 1, Joey Poulin. Number 3, JJ Chestnut. Number 10, Asa Kone. Number 21, Aaron Goldstein. And number 32, Eric Tynes.
And Nick, as we mentioned during the pregame, this is not the only game going on tonight for the College of Staten Island. Women's basketball is on the road at the Uville, and we have picture-in-picture capabilities tonight. So during our media timeouts and any breaks in the men's game, we'll have video from the women's game up in the corner of the screen. We'll flash that on from time to time as we have stoppages in the action. If you don't get ads, you can check out the women's game while we're in commercial break. But Nick, for you and I, the business at hand tonight is covering our men's game. And for men's basketball and all of CSI athletics, this is the first time that a home playoff game has been hosted at the Division II level. That being said, this Dolphins team does have some postseason experience. A lot of these players were on the roster last year when they knocked off this Roberts Wesleyan squad in the playoffs. What needs to happen tonight to make sure that the Dolphins move on to the semifinal round over the weekend?
I think it's something that I highlighted earlier, Joe. Get off to a quick, hot start. We've seen the Dolphins do that at various times this season, but they have to avoid a very cold start because we've also seen them get off to those starts at some times this season. So if CSI wants to get the job done, got to get out of the gate very quickly and often and try to create turnovers on the other side. And the other thing, too, speaking of the turnovers, have to avoid losing the turnover battle. Make sure that the Dolphins turn the ball over a lot in this first half because we saw in that Malloy game that almost hurt the Dolphins in that matchup with the Lions. Can ill afford to have that happen here tonight with a trip to the semifinals on the line.
And Nick, I think it goes without saying, you touched on the point. Roberts cannot afford to allow the Dolphins a quick start. Beyond that, what do the Red Hawks need to key in on to make sure that the Dolphins can't run away with this game and build the big leads that we've seen the Dolphins secure at times in each of the first two meetings?
Well, I think something that I highlighted also, I mentioned the rebounding numbers this season for the Red Hawks has not really gone their way. They've got to first make sure that they can at least keep that rebounding number close. But something that they also need to avoid in this game tonight, Joe, making sure the Dolphins get second chance opportunities because, we've mentioned Asa Kone with 5 offensive rebounds the last time these two teams played. That led to the Dolphins getting a couple of second chance opportunities. If I'm the Red Hawks, have to make sure that they don't get the second chance opportunities. And if they can force the turnovers that we saw the last time the two teams played, that will give Roberts Wesleyan a great chance to pull off what would be an upset.
6-seeded Red Hawks take on the 3-seeded Dolphins from the College of Staten Island. And in just moments, we have tip-off at the tank for the first time in a playoff game here in the Division II era at home. Kone jumps against Woods, and the Red Hawks control the tip. Jordan Brown will bring it up to get us started from the College of Staten Island. That one almost got away from Carter, and it's an early turnover, or perhaps not, given the reaction from the Dolphins, but it will be CSI basketball.
And something that I mentioned, Joe, earlier is the Dolphins using that zone defense a lot this season. They went to it early, and it forced an immediate turnover right there.
Carter took his eyes off the passer, and that's exactly when the ball came. Tynes with it, gains a step, and cannot hit off the bottom of the rim, but Goldstein pokes the attempted pass. And the Red Hawks keep it. Good hustle down to the floor by Sumaharo.
Good job right there by Sumaharo. I mentioned had a couple good matchups against the Dolphins earlier this season as well.
Woods had it stripped away, and Poulin controls. Poulin finds Goldstein left alone. Now Tynes for 3. Splash.
And Joe, how unselfish was that from Aaron Goldstein right there? Had an open look from the 3, passed it up to Tynes, and the extra pass awards the Dolphins the first points of the game.
That's passing up a good shot for a great shot. Goldstein well beyond the arc. Tynes right behind it. And Tynes is able to knock down his first 3-point attempt as Brown stepped on the baseline.
3 trips, 3 turnovers forced by CSI to start this game.
Dolphin defense off to a strong start. They lead it 3-0 just over a minute into this game. Chestnut defended by Brown. This is Tynes using the Kone screen. He feeds Kone, and Kone lays it in.
The good old pick and roll works to perfection, and quickly, Joe, a timeout call by Roberts Wesleyan.
Asa, Kone, and the Dolphins fired up. They're out to an early 5-point lead. CSI 5, Roberts Wesleyan nothing. 18:35 to go in the first half. And we are back from the tank where the Dolphins lead by 5 early in this first half. Just over 90 seconds gone by as a foul is called on Joey Poulin.
That could be something that maybe for Roberts Wesleyan gets them back into the game. Still a couple minutes into this game, but if they can force foul trouble, that's something also, Joe, we've seen has hurt the Dolphins this season.
3-pointer on the way off back iron, no good by Woods. And the long rebound goes to CSI. On the drive, Chestnut can't finish, and the rebound's pulled in by Kleitz. Chestnut ends up on the floor, and he springs back to his feet to get back defensively. This is Brown, no good from the corner. Rebound loose and pulled in by Sumaharo. He works inside and was blocked by Kone.
Dolphins have numbers here.
Here comes Goldstein for the lay-in.
And how about this start for CSI? Defense has been leading to offense. One end, they get the block from Kone. The other hand, they get a nice lay-in from Goldstein. It's a 7-0 lead for CSI.
This crowd in a frenzy early as the Dolphins lead it by 7. Sumaharo to the basket, draws the foul.
Yeah, look at that last sequence right here for CSI. The block from Kone on one end. Poulin brings up the ball, gives it up to Goldstein. Goldstein noticing the numbers advantage for the Dolphins, and he gets that lay-in to go.
Chance for Roberts to get on the board for the first time with just about 2.5 minutes gone by in this first half.
Early enough. The Raptors are shaking.
Free throw is no good. And Nick, I think you're good to switch the camera.
Okay.
Trying to reposition slightly, but we're just about there.
You mentioned it, Joe. The tank filled up tonight. A huge playoff matchup as Roberts Wesleyan has their first points of the evening.
The bleachers rattling our sideline camera as the Redhawks get on the board. Dolphins by 6, just over 2.5 gone by. Chestnut goes to work on Brown. Bounce pass, Goldstein for the easy 2.
How many times have we seen the Dolphins set up a play like that, Joe? Chestnut goes in the post, waits for the Goldstein cut, and Goldstein gets the left-handed lay-in.
When JJ puts his back to the basket beyond the free throw line, you have to be aware of that pass. And once again, the Redhawks turn it over on the travel.
Another turnover for Roberts Wesleyan. That is really hurting them early. We're still not even 3 minutes into this game, and the Dolphins have been really off to a tremendous start. And you have to also factor in this home crowd is definitely helping CSI as well.
No question that the crowd has been a factor early. Dolphins lead it by 8. Just over 3 minutes gone by now in the first half. Tynes with it using the Kone screen out to Chestnut. Now Goldstein for 3. Splash!
And the tank has come unglued already, Joe. A 3 from AG knocks it down. It's an 11-point Dolphin lead.
This start reminiscent of what CSI did at Queens as that's tipped out to Goldstein off the miss. Goldstein finds Poulin. He fakes and will send it back out to Tynes for 3. Splash!
They cannot miss right now, Joe. Tynes knocks down the ET3.
The Dolphins are 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, 6 of 8 from the field, and they lead it 15-1. And Nick, they still have not allowed a made field goal. On the drive, Gardner kicks outside. The fake by Woods, and it rattles out for him. Sumaharo tied up. And it finds Gardner in the corner for 3.
And how big was that right there? They got the second chance opportunity and a nice find from Kleitz. He found him on the outside arc, and finally Roberts Wesleyan has a field goal in this game.
Good patience and good ball movement there by the Redhawks off the offensive glass. Tynes, short off the front rim, and the ball hit the shot clock. And that will send us to our first media timeout. Nick, coming out of this replay, as Poulin kicks out for the ET3. Let's get a look at what's going on in Buffalo right now, as he'll clear that off the board very quickly.
It's an 11-7 CSI lead.
That's an 11-7 deficit.
Deficit, excuse me.
As the free throw is no good by Shanye Edmonds, but this a live look into the game at Deauville. CSI women's basketball on the road for the first round of the East Coast Conference Women's Basketball Championship, and we will have our eye on this game throughout the evening. But Nick, you can leave that up on the screen. As I mentioned, a new East Coast Conference partnership. They have partnered with Athletic Solutions, designating Athletic Solutions the officially endorsed name, image, and likeness store of the ECC. Athletic Solutions is a national leader in NIL fan engagement, working with colleges and universities to bring NIL locker rooms to life. Student athletes, find out if your school has finalized its partnership with Athletic Solutions so you can sign up to get your NIL locker room today. Meanwhile, taking a quick look back at women's basketball, Dana Phelan from beyond the arc, a bit short on the 3. So Nick will bring that down and keep an eye on that game throughout the night. CSI women's basketball trails by 4 in the first quarter of that game at Deauville. But Nick, back here on the campus of the College of Staten Island, the men could not ask for a much better start. 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from downtown, 6 made baskets, 5 assists. They have not turned the ball over, and they have forced 4 Redhawks turnovers.
Something that I mentioned earlier, Joe, this is some of the keys that I had to this game. Dolphins getting out to a quick start, and on the defensive side, they're forcing turnovers. The first 3 possessions for the Redhawks all resulted in a turnover.
Roberts hoping to come out of the timeout strong here as they work it around the outside. Gardner, defended by Chestnut, crosses over and gives it up to Brown. Corner 3 on the way from Kleitz, no good. Long rebound, Kone.
Kleitz was open a couple seconds earlier than that, Joe, but they were not able to find him.
Chestnut picks up his dribble, finds room, and banks it in.
JJ, of course, coming off that 30-point triple-double on senior night. A nice move to the basket right there.
Well, I said it during the pregame, but JJ Chestnut is playing some of the best basketball of his career during the last month, as Kleitz has another 3 go in and out.
Just when it seems like everything's going in for CSI, everything's not going in for the Redhawks right now.
Goldstein on the step back, rattles it in.
Incredible, Joe. Step back jump shot for Goldstein. It shows why he's first team all conference.
It's a deep 2 for Goldstein. The Dolphins lead by 15. And Gardner's off from way downtown. Redhawks beginning to hoist up a lot of 3s, Nick. Kone. Hands off to Goldstein. Now Poulin inside. Kone. And he has the easy lay-in.
And Joe, you saw it. They double-teamed Goldstein as soon as he got the ball. He kicked it to Poulin. Poulin kicked it inside to Kone. Good job by the Dolphins right there. And another timeout called by Roberts Wesleyan.
The Redhawks have had no answers for the Dolphins early. The CSI lead is 17. Our score, the Dolphins 21 and the Redhawks 4. Still over 14 minutes to play in this first half. We are back from the tank, where we'd like to let you know that the ECC has added yet another medium to tell stories of its student athletes, coaches, administrators, and more with the East Coast Conference Podcast, the official podcast network of the ECC. New episodes air each Thursday, and this week's episode serves as a special ECC men's and women's basketball edition that features student athletes from our participating teams all weekend long. As that three-pointer is good for Jordan Brown, and Nick, that's a big basket for Roberts Wesleyan.
A huge basket, Joe. You mentioned they're shooting a lot from the outside right now, trying to get them back into this game. Now back down 14. A huge shot for Brown.
Chestnut off the fake, puts it in with the left hand.
And they just gave him too much space right there. Chestnut just taking advantage of it, and CSI back up 16.
Roberts Wesleyan has had no answers for the Dolphins from the outside, from the paint, and at this end of the floor, they've already turned it over 4 times. On the drive, tough shot by Woods, won't go over Kone. Goldstein for Chestnut, back to Goldstein.
Look out.
And there's a souvenir.
Very nice catch, though.
Well, that's an important play there along the sideline by Mark Salaigas. If he doesn't make that play, Nicky's got a laptop with a basketball on the screen.
Always have to protect the equipment. That's all we always say here.
Salaigas with the save. Along the sideline, his team trails by 16.
Next stoppage we have, Joe, give an update that's going on between CSI and D'Uval on the women's side.
And Gardner lost it on the way up, but he was fouled.
They're at the end of the first quarter in Buffalo. It is D'Uval 16, CSI 8.
Low scoring first quarter for the Dolphins in Buffalo. We'll have our eye on that game all night with updates during our media timeouts. Gardner's free throw is good.
And I think something that if I'm Roberts Wesleyan, Joe, that has to be mentioned, I mentioned this too earlier. Remember, they were down 18 points at one point in the first half of the last meeting between the two teams. So this lead, yes, has gotten out of hand early, but it's a deficit that they have overcome before.
If the deficit grows no larger than where it peaked at 16 points, I think Roberts has more than enough firepower to steady things and get back in this game quickly. But if you're the Dolphins, you have to like what you've done early at both ends of the floor as Chestnut loses it on the scoop attempt. And now the long outlet finds Gardner up the floor for the lay-in.
Nice job by Khalid Gardner coming off the bench. Nice lay-in right there off of that fast break. And another big points right there for Roberts Wesleyan to cut it to 12.
Well, a few more transition baskets like that, and you're right back in this game. Oyekanmi into the corner for Wiggin. Wiggin, baseline drive, and he's fouled. That foul's on Jaden Lee. And the free throw by Wiggin is good.
Yeah, last sequence for Roberts Wesleyan right here to get the rebound on one end. Great outlet pass on that side to get it to Gardner on the other end.
Nice grab as well. The pass and the receipt, both highlight worthy as Wiggin knocks down both free throws to make it a 14-point game, and Chestnut kicks that ball.
Dolphins go into that half-court trap right there. They have Chestnut, Benedict, and Goldstein up, trying to force a turnover.
Since the early going, the Red Hawks have cleaned up the turnovers a bit. They're still at 4. Most of those came in the first couple of minutes. Woods with it, cross court for Gardner. Gardner gets by Goldstein and had his kick out tipped. Now Lee up top, Brown for 3. A bit too strong and rebounded by Chestnut.
Got the look right there, but not able to fall.
Chestnut up top, and that's a dangerous pass. And it is stolen. Couple of turnovers now for the Dolphins. And a long alley-oop attempt. And Hicks thought better of the dunk attempt as that 3 won't go, and Wiggin has the rebound.
Well, good thing for the Dolphins. They turned the ball over at one end, the first of the game, but did not harm them in that category of giving up the points on the other end.
Goldstein defended here by Gardner well beyond the arc. 12 to shoot. Benedict in the corner, drives, doubled. He finds Chestnut for three. Off back iron, no good, and rebounded by Woods. Woods right at Goldstein, drops it off to Hicks. He's tied up, and he can't get that to go from in close.
Joe, initially, he wasn't ready for the pass. He thought Woods was going to go up with a jump shot or the lay-in, but did not.
Wiggin absorbs the contact and will head to the line. And with that, we will head to immediate timeout. 10:46 to go in the first half. Dolphins lead 25-11. And with that, we take a look in to the game in Buffalo as the Dolphins miss an easy one at the rim right there. Their deficit is now double digits. 2.5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. And we are back from the tank where the Dolphins lead the Red Hawks 25-11 as we check in one more time up in Buffalo where women's basketball trails by 10. No change there as we come out of our media timeout. But Nick, it's been a good start for the Dolphins in this game. The Red Hawks have steadied things a bit since the first couple of minutes where they didn't have a made field goal for quite some time to begin this one.
Yeah, right now they're shooting 3 of 15 from the floor so far, so it's still been a cold start right now for Roberts Wesleyan in this game, but they've at least calmed it down a little bit. The problem is right now, CSI, they're 10 of 15 from the floor, and now going a 2-for-2 trip right there for Wigan.
Dolphins back in front by 16. It's been a combination of great shooting and suffocating defense. Dolphins with an advantage on the glass as well, 10-6 on the boards. There's some good ball movement. Hicks bobbled it and had it stripped away.
That's the second time Hicks has got on the baseline, Joe, where he had a good look, but was not able to hold on to the pass.
Goldstein is stripped. Good defense there by Gardner. Gardner.
Numbers.
Woods, and he drops it in.
He was looking for a dunk on that one, but he still got the lay-in nonetheless.
He was looking for the poster dunk there.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he had one the last time the two teams played at the end of the game.
Oyekanmi up top, hands off to Wiggin. Wiggin on the pull-up, knocks it down.
How about that jump shot right there by Mitchell Wiggin, fighting that contact, and we've seen that so many times this season, Joe, but his game just continues to improve.
He can score from anywhere on the floor. Defenses have their hands full every time he has the ball in his hands. Lee bounce pass into the middle. Carter feeds it to Hicks, who lays it in.
That's how you can expose that zone defense right there. Just keep passing it along, and they find Hicks once again on the baseline. This time, able to get that to go.
He's had the openings, just needs to keep the ball secured along the baseline. Wiggin with it again. Off the hop step, can't get the bank shot to go. Woods finds room for the floater and buries it.
How about that play by Woods? You know, it's crazy, Joe, because he can pretty much do it all for this Red Hawks team. He can facilitate the ball, he can rebound the ball, and he can score the ball as well.
Those last two sequences really give you a good look at what his game is. And like you said, Nick, he can do a little bit of everything for you. There's a reason he's an ECC All-Conference third-teamer, as Benedict lost it out of bounds.
You get a look at it right here. It gets the screen at the top of the arc, goes up, under, and gets the flow to the fall.
That was Bryant-esque on that step through, wasn't it, Nick?
Yeah, what? That certainly was.
You don't see that footwork enough in today's game, and when you see it from a player that doesn't necessarily get low post touches, it's always impressive, especially when it's so fluid like that move. Very impressive from Woods. The Dolphin lead has been cut to 12. This is Carter. Goldstein staying with him, and Carter was stripped, but Goldstein was last to touch it.
Good defensive play right there by Goldstein, not being fooled by Carter on the baseline. 12 seconds to go on the shot clock.
And Woods stepped out of bounds.
That's a tough possession right there for Roberts Wesleyan. Another turnover where, and you know, at certain points in this half, they started to get that number down, but now that's number 5 for them in this first half.
That's their first turnover in quite a while, Nick, and it really lines up with them getting a bit closer in this game. The Dolphins still with a double-digit lead of 12 points. Just over 8 minutes to play until halftime. Chestnut for Kone, and Kone was wrapped up on the way in.
That's a good foul right there by Carter because they did not have the advantage down low on that pick and roll. So a good job by Carter to force the foul. Both teams now at 3 going into the next media.
And with that, we head to a media timeout. Our score, the Dolphins 29 and the Redhawks 17. And we are back from the tank in the middle of a media timeout with just under 8 minutes to play in the first half from the College of Staten Island. And once again, we check in Buffalo. And Nick, unfortunately for the Dolphins, the point column has not changed since our last live look, and they're stuck on 10 points over 6 minutes into the second quarter, and Duville now leads 25-10.
Yeah, they've scored just 2 points, Joe, in that second quarter, so that's definitely a concern. If you're a Dolphins fan right now, down 15, got to find a way, if you're CSI, to get back into that one and at least cut the deficit before halftime starts.
Nick and I will continue to check in for all of our CSI supporters throughout the evening. However, here at the College of Staten Island, we still have 8 minutes to go in the first half, with the Dolphins leading 29-17. CSI will inbound from the baseline.
Dolphins almost in danger of a 5-second violation right there.
And that was awfully close as Goldstein got tied up. Kone can't control it, and the Dolphins turn it over. You can feel the momentum beginning to shift, Nick.
It's getting eerily similar to the last time the two teams played.
And there's a nice finish inside by Gardner. He now has 9 points.
Gardner's been a really big spark right now off the bench in this game, Joe. Huge lead now is turned down to 10.
And Nick, it hasn't just been his offense with the 9 points. He's done a good job on Aaron Goldstein as Poulin is short from the corner.
And they've got numbers now.
They sure do. It's Gardner waiting for the lay-in, and the Dolphins' lead is down to 9 points.
Pressure, 8 points.
My mask, a bit off, Nick.
That's happens to the best of us.
Don't tell anybody.
Another foul call right there on Roberts Wesleyan. But like I mentioned, Joe, it's somewhat getting similar to the last time the two teams played, because the Dolphins had a nice double-digit lead, but then things started to get away from them towards the end of the half. Now things start to get away from them with about halfway, already halfway through here in this first half. With 7 minutes to go, CSI now only up 8.
Chestnut with it, 18 on the shot clock. Goldstein defended by Gardner, looking for room, and was fouled on the way in.
That's just tough for Gardner, Joe. Couldn't really do much more on that play defensively. But Goldstein, a master of drawing the contact and drawing a foul on that play.
And keep in mind, Nick, Carter is out there with 2 fouls. Lee, in just 7 minutes off the bench, picked up 2 fouls. So a couple of players for Roberts Wesleyan, one of whom is in the game right now, very much in foul trouble. Carter, tough assignment on Kone. He finds Tynes. Too strong. And the long rebound goes to Sumahara, who turns it over. And Poulin can't finish. The tip-in won't go. And the Red Hawks have it.
Yeah, Joey Poulin almost made an incredible play right there after forcing the turnover. But Roberts Wesleyan had the numbers and were able to force that errant shot.
Sumahara looking, sends it out to Gardner. Gardner off the fake, fades away and hits.
How about Gardner, Joe? He is starting to heat up. It's a 6-point lead now for CSI.
He has been so impressive at both ends of the floor. And Goldstein threw it away. Here comes Kleitz. Flips it back, Carter. Carter for 3. No good. And that would have been a huge bucket for the Red Hawks.
No question about it right there. That one went down. CSI needs to kind of slow it down a little bit, Joe. The last couple minutes have not really been good for them.
They had Kone on that slip. Now Chestnut gets inside for the lefty lay-in.
It's a tough play for Gardner again because Chestnut just had really good movement right there with the ball. Gets the left-handed lay-in.
Dolphins finally snapping the Roberts run. I believe it was at 6-0. Make that 10-0 as CSI forces another turnover. Now Goldstein racing up the floor. Finds Tynes for 3. No good, but Kone has the rebound. Goldstein will try. Off the mark. And it's tipped out to Goldstein once again. Poulin. Inside, Tynes no good. And Woods secures it.
And Tynes was kind of contacted on that play by Kleitz, but no call underneath. And I'll put that defensive possession for Roberts Wesleyan. Couple second chance opportunities for the Dolphins, and they're not able to capitalize.
Gardner with it. Under 5 minutes to play in the half. He will try the 3. And he's short.
That one was the proverbial heat check shot right there.
You don't mind it, but not the look you wanted as Kone throws it down with 2 hands.
That's the look you want right there. How about that find from Goldstein? Finds Kone for the 2-handed slam.
Kone turns the net inside out as the Dolphins go back up by double figures.
And more importantly, Joe, gets the Fanatics back into this game because it was starting to get eerily quiet and they force a turnover.
Here comes Chestnut to the rim, and he can't finish, but Tynes cleans it up. And the Dolphins lead by 12.
Big time job right there for CSI. Tynes with a lot of patience, gets the rebound, gets the putback, and CSI back up double digits.
And they forced another turnover. Dolphins have scored the last 6. Poulin off the fake. Tied up. And lost it over the baseline. And after a breakneck pace for the last several minutes, we head to our final media timeout of this first half. Goldstein to Kone for the 2-handed slam as the Dolphins go back in front by 12. Our score, Staten Island 35 and Roberts 23. 3:37 to go here at the College of Staten Island in this first half. And Nick, it's beginning to get away from women's basketball in Buffalo. They now trail by 17, and that will do it for the first half at Deauville. So the score at halftime, Saints 34 and the Dolphins 17. We still have 3:37 to go from the tank. And Nick, it looked like the Redhawks were making a push to get even or perhaps take the lead just a couple of minutes ago, but the Dolphins have since scored the last 6 and have shut Roberts out for the last 2:36.
Well, they've done once again what we saw to start the game, Joe, forcing turnovers on the one side of the court, leading to points on the other side of the court, and now they're back up double digits with under 4 to go in this first half.
This is a big 3.5-minute stretch for Roberts. Very easily, they could see the good work they did undone if the Dolphins go on another run. Woods bobbled it. 10 to shoot now. Kleitz swings it. Carter. 5 to shoot. And he threw it away. Goldstein up the floor. Alley-oop! And Wigan can't finish. Neither can Kone. That would have set this building on fire, Nick, as Kleitz can't hit from 3.
Trying to cut the single digits right there was Kleitz, but again, another missed opportunity right there for the Redhawks.
Roberts just 2 of 12 from downtown in the first half. Chestnut surveying the floor, now drives. And his floater won't go, but he was fouled.
Gotta appreciate the work, by the way, from Goldstein underneath the rim. He was trying to screen Sumaharo to get Kone an opportunity to go for the pick and roll, but Chestnut went on the baseline, draws the contact, and he'll go to the free throw line.
First free throw for Chestnut is good. And Nick, I think it's a good time to note the Dolphins are 5 for 5 from the line.
Well, Fanatics, you know who to blame if something happens.
If you were in attendance tonight, you could have been a lucky recipient of a Fanatics t-shirt. They're throwing those into the crowd, Nick. There aren't many left. It's a great design. As Chestnut goes 2 for 2, Nick. Take that, Jinx.
Easy, Jinx Supreme.
I'm Jinx Supreme. No, I'm Jinx Prime. You're
Jinx Prime, sorry. Yeah. Excuse me.
Dolphins by 14. 2:20 to go in the first half. Lee in the corner, defended by Poulin. Outside Woods, he looks to drive. He kicks to an open Brown. No good from the corner, and the putback rolls off for Lee, who will head to the line for 2 shots.
And that's got to be frustrating for Roberts Wesleyan, Joe. They do get the opportunity to go to the free throw line, but how many times have we seen this first half? They get an open look from the outside, but it just has not been falling for them here in this half.
First free throw by Lee is good.
They're now 2 of 13 from the outside arc.
And Lee rattles in the second free throw.
Now the Redhawks go into a little bit of a half-court trap.
Chestnut with it, 15 to shoot, now Kone. Kone looking to power his way in on Hicks. And Hicks having none of it as Kleitz comes up with the steal. Woods outside for Kleitz, now Brown. Back up to Kleitz. Left open. Hits from 3.
And he knew eventually they were going to knock down one of those open threes. Kleitz knocks down the triple. It's back to single digits.
The Redhawks, as you mentioned, Nick, uncharacteristic poor shooting from downtown. You have to expect that to level out. As Wiggins misses, rebounded by Goldstein. And boy, Roberts' coaching staff can't be happy about that.
That's a big missed opportunity because they got a good defensive play, and they got the mismatch inside if the Dolphins get there.
Kone barrels over Lee, and he commits the blocking foul.
And not only that, Joe, but that puts the Dolphins now in the bonus. So it's going to be a 1-on-1 trip for Kone.
Kone will head to the line. 1-1 here. So that front free throw of the 1-1 becomes important. And first free throw is good.
You're a mere inches away from a lane violation on that one.
Kone's second free throw is good, and the Dolphins are back in front by double figures. They lead it by 11. Under a minute to go, first half.
We'll see if the Redhawks maybe go 2 for 1 right here.
Brown inside for Hicks, and he throws it down.
And that's got to be frustrating for TJ Tibbs. He calls an immediate timeout. Hicks once again wide open underneath the rim, and an easy slam for him right there.
It doesn't get much easier than that if you're the Redhawks, and once again they are within single digits. But Nick, the Dolphins got off to a strong start. I think they really executed well at both ends of the floor. They've held Roberts to just 3 of 14 from downtown. Can you expect that to continue the rest of the way? And do the Dolphins have to make any adjustments on either side of the ball?
I think on the defensive side, they need to adjust in terms of their defense right now, only because they're allowing looks like that underneath the rim. We've seen it a couple times in this half where the Redhawks have gotten trips where at the baseline they've had an opportunity to get points, but they've also had a tremendous amount of opportunities from the outside arc too. So I think from CSI, that's got to be a little bit concerning. Thankfully for them that the Redhawks have not been able to make those open shots. So I think if I'm CSI, have to make adjustments on the defensive side for one thing. And then offensively, I think the only thing is cutting down the turnovers, because at first it was looking good for CSI in this game. They're only up +3 in the turnover battle because Redhawks made a little bit of a run, and now they're down within 9, and they've given themselves an opportunity to go 2 for 1 to end the first half.
I think if you're the Dolphins and you go into the half up double figures, you're content with that, but you cannot expect the Redhawks to shoot 3 of 14 again in the second half from downtown. Chestnut with it, has a lane, and is rejected by maybe 2 or 3 Redhawks at the rim. Wow.
And they'll slow it down for the last shot of the half.
Well, barring a turnover or a late heave, the Redhawks should go into the half within single digits as the Dolphins give a foul. A lot of aspiring officials to our right tonight, Nick.
Sure is. Get a second look at that last sequence, and you're right, Joe. It pretty much looked like two players on the Redhawks rejected that shot.
Yeah.
You'll see. You also got a look at some of the fanatics who weren't happy with the call either.
Dolphins send Leighton Woods and Michael Oyakonmi into the game as they will foul again. They had the 2 to give. I don't think the aspiring officials understand what's happening here.
I'm not sure they understand either.
So we have a lot of disgruntled Dolphin fans who don't realize the Dolphins had 2 fouls to give.
Yeah.
Roberts now left with 10 seconds.
I'll leave it in no comment.
Woods, 5 to shoot now. Kicks out, Carter off the fake. Can't hit. And that will do it for the first half from the tank. Our score, the Dolphins 39 and the Redhawks 30. I'm joined on the court by men's basketball head coach TJ Tibbs with a TLC Physical Therapy halftime report coming up next. And we're joined on the court by men's basketball head coach TJ Tibbs. And coach, the team got off to a strong start. What was the key to the early success in the opening minutes?
I think the crowd, right? The energy. I think we played off the crowd. I think the energy was great. And shots were going in. You know, we're getting out in transition, playing our brand of basketball. Shots going in were pretty hard to guard in that point. But credit to Roberts, right, man? Incredible way to take a punch and to come back. You know, any team that's coached by Mark is going to fight to the bitter end. And that's how they made it here. Even their last game, they've been fighting. So they're one of the hottest teams in the league. So they have a bunch of shot makers. They came in, they made some tough shots. We made some bonehead plays on offense, and I think they had a lot to do with it. So good start, but we got to clean up some things for sure.
We mentioned how much adversity Roberts had to overcome just to get here during the pregame. And in that first half, they shot uncharacteristically poorly from downtown. Do you expect that to level out in the second half, or do you look to shut that down and keep it right where it is?
Of course we look to shut it down, but I mean, they're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league, so they're going to continue to shoot them. It's just the type of ones that we give them. So they've adjusted to some things that we've done in the past against them, able to bang a three in the ATO with something new that they put in. But we just got to make everything contested and be able to get some runouts. But I think our poor offense, our poor shots, our poor turnovers led to a bunch of runouts, and you can't let that team run out.
Well, we almost had a stray basketball come in and hit us, but Coach, your team was in the top three in three-point shooting as well, so you deserve credit for that too. Best of luck in the second half. Men's basketball head coach TJ Tibbs, kind enough to join us for the TLC Physical Therapy Halftime Report. Nick, back to you.
All right, thank you, Joe. That was head coach TJ Tibbs for the TLC Physical Therapy Halftime Report. His team leads 39-30 heading into halftime of this first round matchup of the East Coast Conference Tournament. A trip to the semifinals on the line for these two teams. When we come back, Joe and I will break down the first half and look forward to the second half action between the Dolphins and the Redhawks. Stay right here on CSI Sportsnet, streaming exclusively on Flow College.
We've learned a lot from him, and we've probably learned more from him than he's learned from us.
I think they're a real important part in my life. I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact is a national nonprofit that connects kids living with serious and chronic illness with college athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes.
Champion, break it! Break it!
Can I have a hug? What's your favorite subject?
Math.
When you spread the word about Team Impact, you have the power to change lives.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country.
What's up, big man? You good?
It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
We are
Penn State.
LA.
From signing day to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island, where we're about set to begin the second half between the Dolphins and the Redhawks. CSI in front, 39-30. As I thought we had paperwork being passed our way, and that was not for us apparently, Nick. But we do get a live look as well into the game up in Buffalo. CSI women's basketball trailed, I believe, by as many as 20 in this game, trailing by 17 at halftime. They have cut the Saints' lead down to 13 at the midway point of the third quarter. So still life for the CSI women in that game at 15 minutes of basketball left to be played in that Women's East Coast Conference Championship first-round matchup. Nick?
I was going to say, they need to do what Roberts Wesleyan did to end the first half. They get cut into single digits going into the fourth quarter. We'll give the Dolphins some life, but go ahead, Joe.
Neither team shot well in this game to end the first half. The Dolphins just 1 of 6, and Roberts late in that first half saw their three-point shooting 1 of 7 on their last 7 tries. They were just 3 of 14 from downtown overall in that first half. And you have to think that at some point that's going to level out a bit closer to their average. But if you're the Dolphins, you have to do something that you mentioned, Nick. Protect the basketball. The turnovers piled up after they were clean for about the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it certainly has to, Joe. They're going to be able to hold on in this game, clean up the turnovers, and continue to get the shooting that we saw to start this game in the first half of this matchup.
Chestnut with it, finds Goldstein. Back out to Chestnut for 3. Off the mark and tipped out to Goldstein.
Nice job right there by Tynes to give the Dolphins second life.
Kone was all alone under the basket. They didn't see him. Now Goldstein around the back is fouled on the jumper.
Was able to draw the contact right there on Sumahara, but you mentioned it, Joe. They did have the matchup inside with Kone. He was up against Carter after the initial pick and roll, but it'll be Goldstein go to the free throw line.
Do I have to adjust my camera, Nick, or am I good?
No, you should be good.
Okay. Goldstein to the line, 2 shots. And the first is good. Dolphins now 9 of 9 from the line. Yeah, we have to move to the right there just a bit. There you go. Goldstein 2 for 2. Dolphins a perfect 10 of 10 from the stripe, and they lead by 11. Brown over to Kleitz. Gets it right back on the wing. 15 to shoot now. Kleitz outside for Woods. He looks to drive. Off the spin. He feeds the wide open Sumahara for the jam.
That was an incredible play right there by Woods, forcing the double team off the spin and finding Sumahara wide open underneath.
He commands so much attention in that 10 to 15 foot range, Nick, and it's opened up a lot of passes along the baseline. Goldstein in trouble. He's doubled, but he finds Chestnut. And JJ's pull-up goes down.
Big shot right there for CSI. Chestnut responds at the other end. But CSI back up double digits.
Chestnut now in double figures with 10. And Nick, shockingly, only 5 Dolphins have scored as that lay-in won't go. Initially, I thought it was 4. That was Sumahara on the layup attempt. Tynes for 3, and he buries it.
Been a little bit of time since we've seen the Dolphins knock down a 3, and right now the Redhawks in a little bit of disbelief, maybe looking for a foul on the other end, Joe, as they call another timeout.
Nothing good ever comes of petitioning from a foul call. That didn't happen, and that last petitioning perhaps cost the Redhawks 3 points at the other end. It's an ET3 for Eric Tynes, and the Dolphins are back in front by 14. Our score, Staten Island 46 and Roberts 32. Just 1 minute and 39 seconds elapsed here in the second half, and the Dolphins have turned what was a 9-point halftime lead into a 14-point advantage. And Nick, Dolphins coming out strong in the second half, much like they did to open the game.
Yeah, certainly, Joe, and that's really been something that they need to have start the second half. We saw Roberts Wesleyan make a little surge at the end of the first half, and remember the last time the two teams met, it was Roberts Wesleyan that carried over that first half surge into the second.
That finger roll won't go on the inside, and Dolphins control it in transition. And they're going to get Kone for a moving screen.
The expiring official certainly voicing their displeasure with that one.
I assure the audience that is not me booing, but it is occurring about 2 feet to my right.
Yeah.
Roberts basketball off the turnover. They trail 46-32. Woods. Fadeaway jumper. A bit too strong, and Kone has the rebound. Goldstein brings it back outside. Now Chestnut into the corner. Poulin baseline drive, feeds Kone. Kone in the post is fouled.
Another foul on Sumahara, who had one earlier to start this half. Now that puts him at 2.
And that's definitely something to watch, Nick. Asa Kone to the line. He's 2 of 2 from the stripe tonight. And his first free throw is good. Kone has been a big part of the Dolphins' advantage on the boards, 23-14, and you highlighted that during the pregame, Nick. And Kone is 2 for 2 from the line once again. Dolphins now perfect, 12 for 12.
An impressive free throw shooting night so far for CSI. And their lead back up to 16.
Off the crossover, Brown spins and throws one off the rim as he is fouled.
And now, Joe, that's 3 fouls on Kone, so we'll see how much, if he does stay into this game. I think he probably stays in now, but that's something that maybe from Roberts Wesleyan, maybe they try to take advantage of and try to get him out.
I think you have to, Nick, because he's been such a difference maker in this game. Now 10 points, 6 rebounds, perfect on his free throws. He's blocked the shot as Brown hits the free throw. But if you can get even 5 to 7 minutes without him in the game, that could make a huge difference, especially now with the deficit at 15 points. Brown goes 2 for 2. Something else to note, with the starting 5, and they have Carter on Goldstein now. This is Chestnut to the basket, and the finger roll won't go in traffic.
Dolphins looking for a foul on that play, no call.
And Carter stepped on the sideline again.
That's not the first time that's happened tonight for the Redhawks. A couple of possessions that have happened that way for them.
We saw Woods step on the sideline at the other end in front of the Dolphins bench. That turnover occurs in front of the Roberts bench.
That's now 12 turnovers for Roberts Wesleyan.
Goldstein. His back to the basket, swings to Kone. Now Chestnut with 12 to shoot. Tynes gets in the paint, and his fall-away jumper is good.
We saw in the highlight package earlier, Joe, Tynes hitting a lot of those fadeaway jumpers against this Redhawks defense, and he does one right again right there.
That's a tough matchup for any Redhawk that draws the assignment, as once again it is Woods inside with the floater.
Been an impressive showing tonight from Woods, as he now has a couple points in this game. He now makes it 6. They're back within 14.
He's just 3 of 8, but he does have 7 rebounds and 3 assists. As Tynes knocks down another 3, count it, and the foul.
It's an ET3 and a potential 4-point play for Eric Tynes. What a shot right there getting the contact as well, and a great opportunity for 4 points.
And you mentioned the fall-away jumpers that he likes so much from the mid-range. How many times have we seen him knock down a three despite the contact and get a chance for a 4-point play at the line? That has to be the 4th or 5th time this year, Nick.
And remember, we saw in the highlight package the first meeting, Aaron Goldstein had himself a 4-point play as well.
I don't think they keep that statistic, but I think in games that I've covered alone, Nick, Tynes has had the opportunity for at least 4 4-point plays. Brown into the corner. Carter lays it in.
Trying to silence this Dolphins crowd. Carter gets a nice lay-in right there to put it back within 16.
These next 5 minutes are going to be a pivotal stretch in this game. If the Redhawks can't get to within 10 in the next 5.5, 6 minutes, that's going to make for a very difficult road back. And Goldstein is off the mark from downtown, but once again, the Dolphins all over the offensive glass, but Gardner all over that ball on the floor. He's got it.
Gardner's been a defensive menace for the Dolphins in this game as Brown draws the contact and the foul.
And that will send us to immediate timeout. 15:20 to go in the second half. And the Dolphins lead it by 16. Our score, Staten Island 54 and Roberts Wesleyan 38. And we are back from the College of Staten Island where the Dolphins lead the Redhawks 54-38 in this men's basketball first round matchup. But Nick, we have a game in Buffalo. They have entered the 4th quarter at Deauville, and the Dolphins have turned what was once a 20-point deficit into a 9-point deficit. Very much alive entering the final 10 minutes. They did exactly what you said they needed to do, Nick. Pulled to within single digits for the start of the 4th.
Yeah, now they give themselves a chance going into that 4th quarter, Joe. A great opportunity for CSI women's basketball to try to pull off what would be an incredible comfort-behind victory to move on to the semifinals.
Still plenty of time, and we'll stay with it for a possession as we are still in the midst of a media timeout here at the College of Staten Island. But for fans of women's basketball, perhaps you get 2 streams going. I don't know if you can use 2 devices at once on Flow, but Nick's shaking his head and saying no. So
Steph and I have tried.
This might be the best you get, Nick. Picture in picture. One more possession here if we can get through it, but it does not look like we're going to make it. Let's see. And Phelan short on the jumper. So you can check out the women's game on Flow College as well. And we invite you to stay with us here if you're a fan of men's basketball, as the Redhawks look to make this a closer contest as we move ahead in the second half with 15:20 to go. Jordan Brown, 2 of 2 from the line, and it's now a 14-point CSI lead.
Brown had a great second half the last time the 2 teams played too, Joe, so look for him maybe to try to these next couple of minutes play a factor. And how about a big factor right there, Sumahara with an emphatic rejection.
Poulin rejected on the floater. And the Dolphins are still left with plenty of time on the shot clock, 24 to shoot.
Get a quick look at that last play. Nice rejection from Sumahara.
Chestnut inside, and it's too far in front of Kone.
That's what the Dolphins certainly would love to have right there. Kone had a wide open look underneath.
That would have been an easy 2. To the corner, this is Carter on the step back, over Tynes.
That was Kobe Bryant-esque, especially with the number 8 on his jersey. Nice shot right there by Keandre Carter.
Tough shot over a much lengthier defender. Dolphins lead down to 12 now. Goldstein for Kone. Right back to Goldstein. Poulin for 3. Too strong, but Kone snatches the board and draws the foul.
How big of a rebound was that, Joe? Because he was going up against pretty much 3 defenders on that play. And Kone is able to grab the offensive glass.
Dolphins have been very good on the boards, a plus 11 now at that last offensive rebound. But despite 9 offensive boards in this game, Nick, the Dolphins are only a plus 1 in second chance points as Goldstein was blocked. Gardner is stripped, and he's down on the floor again. He gets it away. Brown for 3, too strong, and Tynes has the rebound.
Great heads-up play by Poulin, Joe, because if he doesn't make that play to knock it out initially, they have a chance to get that fast break.
Tough shot. Chestnut gets the bounce.
The friendliest of bounces right there for Chestnut.
There was a lid on that basket early in this game, Nick, as Lee feeds the cutting Hicks for another dunk.
Another two-handed slam right there by Hicks.
He threw that one down with authority, and the Dolphin lead is 12 again. Roberts not going away in this game. Tynes, floater is good.
Not just too easy for Tynes. We've seen that so many times this season, Joe. The hesitation shot to lead to a wide open look on the floater right there.
Tynes now has 19. Gardner, tough shot, never had a chance, but it was last touched by the Dolphins and they can't believe it. CSI defense locked in on Gardner since he's re-entered the game. There's a look at that last basket by Tynes. And you could see the threat of Kone on the cut. They just left him. Carter in the corner, crosses over on Benedict. And count that basket and the foul.
Another great play by Carter and a good job of drawing the contact, and he'll have a chance of a three-point play.
Credit to Roberts, Nick, as TJ Tibbs mentioned during our halftime conversation. They were dealt quite the blow early in this game and a good counter punch by the Redhawks to get back in the game. And despite the Dolphins getting ahead by 16 again, Roberts within 11, very much alive. Meanwhile, it's a 5-point game in Buffalo as well, so that's something else we have our eye on.
A turnover right there for CSI now.
Redhawks hoping to get a bit closer here, and they will have that chance from the free throw line.
And Joe, look at your screen again. It's now a 2-point lead.
Wow.
For Duville. Dolphins making it a ferocious comeback.
We'll stay with this one through the free throws for our Dolphin fans who can only see one stream at a time. Meanwhile, the free throw by Brown is good. And it's now a 10-point game again.
I feel like the Kevin Harlan clip. We're watching 2 games at once.
Well, we wouldn't be as keen about the picture-in-picture if it weren't for the ability to watch only one game at a time as Brown knocks down the free throw. And it's a 9-point game. So the Dolphins are headed to the line in Buffalo with a chance to tie the game.
Incredible.
Goldstein out to Chestnut. Back to Goldstein. Chestnut left wide open. Puts up an air ball, last touched by the Redhawks. Brown can't believe it, but that's the right call.
And Joe, man, if I'm Roberts Wesleyan, yes, the ball's not going to be theirs, but they got a huge break. They were pretty much confused the entire defensive possession. We saw at the very tail end, Gardner was trying to figure out where he was assigned to on the defensive possession, and Chestnut just was not able to take advantage.
Inbound to Benedict, 15 to shoot. Benedict off the fake, draws the foul, and puts it in.
How many times have I said it this year, Joe? This kid's just a freshman doing plays like that. An incredible job by Benedict. Draws the contact, count the basket, and the foul.
A big bucket for Andrew Benedict and the Dolphins. As once again, the Redhawks had pulled to within single digits. The Dolphins answer right back.
And the Dolphins, meanwhile, on the women's side, Joe, have taken the lead.
Wow.
5:30 to go, CSI up 2.
The Dolphins are racing a 20-point deficit in that game. It could be a big night for CSI basketball. The Red Hawks hope to have something to say about that. This is Carter with the left, no good. And Benedict has the rebound. Here comes Goldstein.
They've got numbers that they push.
Goldstein throws one up. Kone has it, and he had it knocked away, and we play on. The Dolphins bench can't believe it. Hicks fouled, throws it over his head, and will head to the line.
That would have been a circus shot if he was able to get that one to fall.
And Nick, we're headed to immediate timeout, so let's get that picture-in-picture.
Dolphins now up 4, Joe.
Wow. What a comeback. And keep in mind, Nick, that game is not over, but the Dolphins showed very little signs of life at the offensive end during the first half. You mentioned it at the time. They had not scored for over half of the second quarter. They are also in a timeout in Buffalo. So, Nick, we'll throw it to a 30-second break. When we come back, we'll be out of immediate timeout here, and maybe we get a few moments to check in up in Buffalo. And we are back from the College of Staten Island, and they're just about to come back in Buffalo as well. So if we have a few moments to take in one possession from Buffalo, we will. Meanwhile, Nick, it is a 61-49 game here at the College of Staten Island. Dolphins over the Red Hawks, and Roberts headed to the line with a chance to pull back to within 10. But, Nick, so many times in the second half, it looked like the Dolphins were poised to pull away. The Red Hawks have responded to each and every blow they've been dealt. They just haven't been able to get over the hump yet.
Certainly is the case, Joe, as the first of 2 free throws for Hicks knocks down.
Well, we'll keep this picture-in-picture through the free throws, and then it's back to the regular format from Staten Island as Kone grabs the rebound. So that 3 no good in Buffalo, and the Dolphins lead by 4 there. Here it is CSI by 11.
I'll give any other further updates when I have a moment.
Nick has the game in front of him. 15 to shoot now for the Dolphins. Kone for Chestnut. Chestnut keeps his dribble and finds Poulin. Poulin to Goldstein. 3 to shoot. Goldstein a bit too strong, and another offensive board. This time it's Wiggin, and he does not get the bounce. Red Hawks control. Woods off the fake, drives, and put up a wild shot. That one never had a chance.
Yeah, looking for the foul on Chestnut, but no call. Good defensive stop right there by JJ.
Should have pulled up for the jumper there. Tried to get in too deep.
He had the initial good fake after Wiggin was coming up the court as Chestnut will knock down the jump shot.
Chestnut calmly hits the pull-up, and Nick, you can see it. Every time Kone slips to the basket, he draws 2 defenders. Dolphins by 13 as we approach 10 minutes to play. Brown, baseline for Hicks. Now Woods into the corner. And Lee rattles in a big 3-pointer.
How about the passing on that possession, Joe? Great job by Roberts Wesleyan as they find Jaden Lee wide open in the corner. Back to 10.
That was a good, patient offensive possession for the Red Hawks. Wiggins stripped. And it will stay with CSI.
Nice job right there by Hicks to knock that out of Wiggins' hands. It's a 3-point lead for CSI with 3:53 to go, it looks like.
And it is Dolphins basketball in Buffalo.
Correction, 3:30 to go.
And was that a foul call I saw there, Nick?
I believe so.
Player down on the baseline. 15 to shoot here on Staten Island. Kone with it. Chestnut, bounce pass. Kone, and he draws the foul.
Inspiring officials still voicing their displeasures.
It's always a very interesting listen. It's a shame we won't get a chance to do this again this year. But Nick, before we sign off for the final time later, I'd like to thank you for another great year. We only pulled you off commentary once this year, so I almost stayed entirely true to my promise not to do so. It was an emergency, but only one time.
Only once.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Next year we'll shoot for 0.
But yeah, incredible year, Joe, for us here at CSI Sportsnet. An incredible season for both the men's and the women's basketball teams. And for you and I, the grind never stops. We got softball and baseball coming up on the horizon.
We sure do. Meanwhile, speaking of zeros, Nick, Dolphins have not missed a free throw. They're 16 of 16. As Poulin rejects Gardner.
Gardner's had a big impact in this game, Joe, but what a defensive rejection right there by Joey Poulin.
20 to shoot for the Red Hawks as we get one more look at that last rejection by Poulin. Sumaharo left alone in the corner, back up to Brown. 10 to shoot now. Brown tied up. Bounce pass inside. Sumaharo's fouled.
And Joe, while we have free throws coming up, let's put up the picture once again. It's now a 6-point lead for CSI.
How many times have I said that as DeUville knocks down a big 3?
This really is the Kevin Harlan moment at this rate.
Well,
I'm calling both games.
It's must see, Nick. It's must see. We'll keep that picture-in-picture up through the free throws.
Big possession for the women's basketball team right here.
It is Sumaharo at the line. 2 shots. And the first rolls off.
Meanwhile, the Dolphins missed that open jump shot on the outside. A chance for DeUville to make it a 1-point game or tie it.
One more free throw here on Staten Island for Sumaharo. And he goes 0 for 2 from the line.
Fanatics certainly happy about that one.
Dolphins stay in front by 12. Nick will keep his eye on Buffalo. Chestnut for Goldstein. Half-price pretzels, Nick. It's that time.
Very interesting time to announce that, though.
They always say I'm not myself when I'm hungry. As Goldstein is fouled, and he will head to the line for a 1-and-1, which means let's get that picture-in-picture back up.
Still a 3-point lead. Dolphins just missed an opportunity, and you see it, Joe. Time is winding down.
Just over 90 seconds to play in Buffalo. We have just over 9 minutes to play here on Staten Island. It's now a 1-point game. Front end of a 1-and-1 here for Goldstein, and the Dolphins are 17 of 17 from the line.
Pushing our luck, I see.
I think we shook the jinx off a while ago, Nick.
That's true. About to hit the 1-minute mark in Buffalo.
Dolphins by 3 in Buffalo. Dolphins by 14 here on Staten Island. And Woods did not see Goldstein coming there. That was close.
He did not.
We'll keep you posted on the score in Buffalo. Just over 9 minutes to play here. Dolphins lead Roberts Wesleyan, 67-53.
Timeout was called in the women's game by DeUville.
Woods looking. Swings to Brown. Just 6 to shoot now. Gardner steps through and can't get the runner to go.
Had a good look, but just put a little bit too much on it.
I think he may have been shocked how open he was as Goldstein had it taken away. Here comes Gardner, right at Poulin with the left hand, and he gets it to go down.
A nice Euro step right there by Gardner. Avoids the contact, was contacted by Poulin nonetheless, and still gets it to go.
Gardner now with 15 to lead the Red Hawks. Tynes leads the Dolphins with 19, but he's on the bench right now. Kone hands off to Wiggin. Wiggin downhill, right at the basket, can't finish.
Nice defensive stand right there by Sumaharo. Chance to make it single digits with a 3.
That was a big body waiting for Wiggin at the rim as the finger roll won't go for Brown. It's loose, Sumaharo with it. Lee off the fake. Had an opening there from the mid-range, but the Red Hawks will reset. Brown on the wing, Sumaharo baseline. And he can't get it to go from in close. Offensive rebound and kick out. Lee buries the three, and it's now a 9-point game.
How about that job by Sumahara inside, Joe? Couple of offensive rebounds for the Red Hawks. They're back within 9, and they go to the half-court trap.
Good strong hands from Sumahara, and a nice kick out as well by Gardner. Dolphins lead it 67-58. 7:20 to go. Now 10 to shoot. Wiggin, baseline, fadeaway is good.
Just too easy for Mitchell Wiggin right there, Joe. Spin move leads to the open jumper.
And that shot is just too easy for Mitchell Wiggin. Dolphins back ahead double digits.
Meanwhile, Joe, D'Uva missed their shot. Dolphins go to the free throw line up 3.
Cross-court pass, up top, Lee for 3. Too strong this time. Wiggin to the basket. Offensive foul.
And that was Lee that drew the contact on Wiggin. Good job on the defensive end for Jaden Lee.
And Nick, we are going to stay here through the media timeout.
There's a timeout right now in that game between CSI and D'Uva, but you see it on your screen, folks. 23 seconds to go. Dolphins up 3. They will go to the free throw line, trying to hold on to their lead and win this game.
Well, Nick, as we're calling the men's game, I kept the men's live stats up. Didn't really dive deeper into the women's box score, but we'll do that in just a moment. And I'll have to go to the D'Uva website for that. So give me a moment as I track that down.
Hey, Joe, if you want a T-shirt, now's the time.
I don't think they're going to throw it my way.
No.
I'll tell you, though, there are a lot of fanatics.
They're going crazy for this T-shirt.
Those are really nice T-shirts. If they knew what they were getting, they would be very excited, and rightfully so.
I haven't seen the design. I'm obviously
you know the Fanatics design. You have one.
Yes. Oh, so I wasn't sure if it was a different T-shirt.
No, same design.
Okay.
Same great design.
It is a very nice T-shirt.
All right, so let's take a look at the box score for the women. The Dolphins at halftime trailed 34-17. However, in the second half, the Dolphins have outscored the Saints 42-21.
Now, Joe, you are a bit ahead on your live set, so don't spoil it for the people at home.
Okay, I won't. I'm
very ahead. Very ahead. They're shooting the free throws right now.
First is good.
I believe that's Shania Edmonds.
One of 2 trip for Edmonds, and we almost did not get the transition there. One-man crew, perhaps?
Could be.
We're about to go back to action here on Staten Island. We'll try and carry you through this possession as that shot is short from beyond the arc. I don't believe they got it off ahead of a timeout. So I think it's going to stay Saints ball, Nick, and we'll cut back to D'Uville if we get the opportunity before that game concludes. Here on Staten Island, it is the Dolphins in front by 11. Staten Island 69, Roberts Wesleyan 58, just under 6.5 to play. Lee off the fake.
And Brown wide open if they can find him.
Woods back to Lee for 3. And he knocks down another.
I mentioned that Jaden Lee was big off the bench the last game. He's doing it again here tonight. It's back to single digits once again.
8-point game, just over 6 minutes to go. Goldstein, air ball.
And how rare is that, Joe? He had
Very.
a wide open look.
Let's go live!
A rare misfire of that magnitude from Aaron Goldstein. And it's now an 8-point game. And Nick, the Red Hawks getting where we thought they needed to be as they nearly turn it over and the Dolphins come down with it.
Aaron passed. Sumahara tried to keep it in, but to no avail.
Cross-court pass to Poulin. Poulin out to Tynes. Lee all over him. Tynes, fadeaway jumper, and he knocks down another.
How tough was that shot, too, Joe? He had a lot of contact on that play, and another fadeaway jumper. Been an impressive showing for Tynes here tonight.
Tynes has had some big-time scoring performances for the Dolphins, but this might be the game that defines his tenure as a Dolphin to this point.
I spoke to TJ Tibbs a couple games ago about that. He wants to see a lot more from Tynes before his career comes to an end. He's showing it in this game.
Well, they're hoping for, at a bare minimum, 2 more East Coast Conference games.
It's Lee again.
He does it again. Jaden Lee from the corner, and it's a 7-point game now.
Jaden Lee cannot miss right now. And Joe, we have an update from Buffalo next time.
They have gone final, Nick.
They have gone
the
final.
Dolphins come from 20 points down to win, 60-55. They will be in action on Saturday at noon as they take on Damon University in the East Coast Conference semifinal.
Incredible outing, Joe, for that women's team. You know, they had to fight their way on the very last day to even get into the postseason, and now they're moving on to the semifinals. And a rematch against Damon from last season.
They had to travel all the way to Buffalo and play a road game in the first round as the Dolphins miss their first free throw of the game.
And commit a foul, too, so now it's free throws upcoming on a 1-on-1.
Well, the men look to be in good position to join the women, but now this one getting a bit more precarious if you're a Dolphins fan. It's a 7-point game, and Roberts will head to the line for a 1-and-1.
Jaden Lee quickly almost nearing the top of the scoring.
And I think Brown might be bleeding here, so they're going to stop the game momentarily. And we'll see if there's an extended break of any kind. A timeout has not been called, so both teams will head to their respective benches as the trainer attends to Brown. And he looks to be okay. No treatment required.
You certainly don't want to lose him at this point in the game, Joe. He's been a big player for this team this season, one of their leading scorers on this team. But 4:46 to go, 7-point game. It's going to come down to the wire, Joe. I mentioned that these two teams were going to bring out a lot of points. It didn't look that way early on for Roberts Wesleyan, but a big second-half surge has kept this game afloat.
And while we have a moment here, we'll take a look a bit closer at the box score in this one. Dolphins 18 of 19 from the line. That miss by Poulin was their first. They're shooting 47%. The Redhawks up to 43, Nick, as Brown hits the free throw. But during that first half, they were sub 40 all the way. At halftime, they were shooting very poorly from 3. They're 4 of 6 from downtown here in the second half.
And you mentioned it. You knew that eventually that number was going to change after a really tough first half in terms of shooting. They're now within 5.
Under 5 minutes to go. Dolphins in front, 71-66. Goldstein. Brown defending. They'll bring it back to the top of the arc. Now Gardner on the switch. Kone with the screen. Goldstein, hop step. Can't get the bank shot to go, and the rebound is pulled in by Sumaharo.
They can make it a one-possession game on this possession right here.
Gardner. Quick passing. Brown for 3, and it's a 2-point game.
And the tank has become silent, Joe, as this Roberts Wesleyan team is not missing from the outside arc. Another one right there.
And Nick, we knew at halftime they couldn't possibly hold them to sub 25% three-point shooting, as Poulin is forced to call timeout, and the momentum is with the Redhawks. Under 4 minutes to go. Our score, CSI 71, Roberts Wesleyan 69. Under 4 minutes to play from the College of Staten Island. The Red Hawks, in the midst of an 8-0 run, have cut the Dolphins' lead to 2, and it is CSI basketball with 15 on the shot clock.
They need a basket more than ever right here, Joe.
A big moment in this game. The ball in the hands of Aaron Goldstein, now J.J. Chestnut. Chestnut on the pull-up, comes up short. Rebound loose in the corner, and saved by Sumaharo. Gardner up the floor, ties it with the one-handed slam.
A ferocious one-handed slam by Gardner. Down early in this game, we are knotted up at 71.
The Dolphins led by as many as 16 in the second half. That lead is gone. Just over 3 minutes to play. Chestnut looking. Out to Goldstein for 3. No good. Rebound Woods. Sumaharo alone up the floor, and Goldstein takes it away.
Pickpocketed right there by Goldstein.
A huge defensive play by Aaron Goldstein. Chestnut on the drive is rejected. Lee and Sumaharo combined for the stop. Woods barreled into 2 defenders, and now Lee has it. Sumaharo out to Woods, 15 to shoot. Sumaharo, kick out, almost threw it away. Now Brown looks to drive. Brown for Sumaharo, and he gets the circus shot to go. Count it, and the foul.
He wasn't even looking at the rim, Joe. He just threw it towards the rim, and he goes now up for an and one, a chance of a three-point play.
What a finish by Sumaharo. As you said, Nick, he did not have his eyes on the basket.
An incredible shot. Back towards the rim, threw it towards the rim, and he gets the and one. Big free throw right here.
The Red Hawks have scored the last 12 points. Make it 13 straight for Roberts Wesleyan.
An incredible run by Roberts Wesleyan. We said it, Joe. They might be at the record they had this season, but they are a dangerous number 6 seed in the tournament.
They came in red hot, Nick. 1-8 to start conference play. 5-2 the rest of the way. Goldstein out to Tynes for 3. He ended up on the floor, and the rebound goes to Sumaharo.
Dolphins, meanwhile, cannot buy a basket right now. They've gone scoreless and gone really cold. Under 2 to go.
It's been nearly 4 minutes since the Dolphins last scored. They trail by 3, under 2 minutes to play. Woods off the pass fake. Now Sumaharo loses the ball. And it belongs to the Dolphins with 1:39 remaining.
Yeah, if you're the Dolphins, Joe, keep in mind, they cannot force a shot. They have to find something, a good open look. That last possession, they got the look, weren't able to get it down, but they cannot panic right now. They still got some time.
Plenty of time remaining for the Dolphins, but if they don't score here, every possession becomes that much more important the rest of the way. Goldstein to the rim, can't finish, and Kone was fouled on the putback.
Goldstein a little bit slow to get up. Hopefully he's okay. But you're right, Joe. Now Kone will go to the free throw line. Big free throws right here for the Dolphins senior with them down 3.
Oh, key to that possession, the Dolphins working very quickly. Goldstein getting downhill straight to the basket. And Kone on the follow, almost tipped it back in. Kone with a double-double. 12 points and 11 rebounds, Nick. And with that last foul, Jaden Lee has fouled out of the game.
That's big. An important player and a big reason why Roberts Wesleyan got back into this game. He had 14 points, and Joe, it felt like all of them came here in the second half.
The Red Hawks opened the half 4 of 6 from 3, Nick. I think that was all Lee.
I believe so.
As Kone misses the first free throw. Meanwhile, Chestnut on the side of the Dolphins has 4 fouls as well. He's the only player on the floor in immediate foul trouble. This is a huge free throw for Kone. And he goes 1 of 2 from the line. Redhawks by 2, just over a minute to play. Brown getting instruction from the bench.
The Nags start to get to their feet here, try to chant defense.
Chestnut defending Brown with the 4 fouls. Sumahara shows screen. Brown for 3, no good. Long rebound, Gardner's got it. He throws it outside, now Woods.
And a timeout was called by Roberts Wesleyan on the play.
51.4 to go. 17 on the shot clock. And Nick, if Roberts takes the entire shot clock with them and scores, Dolphins are in big time trouble.
And I mentioned it earlier, Joe. Rebounding was going to play a huge factor in this game for these two sides. Despite the fact that Roberts Wesleyan is -7 in the rebound department tonight, they got the biggest rebound of the game right there and a chance to go up by maybe 4 or 5 points. As you mentioned, if they take some time, they can score on this possession.
Well, Nick, I think if you're the Dolphins right now, your season very well could come down to the result of this possession on defense. If Roberts scores, by no means is this game over, but you're in a situation where you will have to foul, even if you do score, and then that foul puts Roberts to the line for 2 shots. Both teams in the double bonus with the next foul committed. The Dolphins already have committed their 10th team foul. Roberts at 9 right now.
Now here's the question, Joe, as well. Afterwards, if you're trying to force the free throw attempts, we're still early on in that attempt. The Dolphins might be looking to foul Sumahara, who's been struggling from the line tonight. He's 2 of 5. That's something to also keep a note with them up double in terms of them being in the double bonus. Maybe look for CSI on the defensive side at some points later on to look to foul Sumahara.
Also to note, Nick, Roberts has no timeout. So if the Dolphins score and Sumahara is in the game, they can't get him out. So at the very least, they'd have to play keep away if they don't want him to be the player that is fouled. The question also becomes, if Roberts scores, do the Dolphins call a timeout? If they get a stop, will they call a timeout?
I say yes to both.
Carter with it, 10 to shoot. It's poked away by Poulin. Good defensive play there. 5 to shoot now. Woods, bounce pass. Sumahara can't finish, but
Foul.
he is fouled.
And I think that was on Chestnut. That's his 5th.
And if it is, that is a huge loss for the Dolphins. That's 5 on Chestnut. Nick, let's get one more look at that. The Dolphins bench didn't seem to think so. Was it on Chestnut?
Yeah.
That is a huge loss. You could argue that he's been the Dolphins' most clutch player this year. Huge free throws here.
I mentioned his free throw shooting earlier. Big ones right here.
And he calmly nets the first. This next one could make it a 2-score game. And it does.
How about that by Sumahara, Joe? Big free throws.
And the Dolphins are going to play it out. Just over 30 seconds to go. Goldstein to the basket. Count it! And the foul!
Aaron Goldstein taking over late in this game. An incredible play. Gets the contact. Count the basket and the foul. And a huge free throw upcoming.
Perhaps the biggest basket of Goldstein's Dolphins career right there.
And that foul also, Joe, on Sumahara.
Sumahara picks up his 3rd there. And this is a massive free throw for Goldstein. And it is good.
Question is now, if you're CSI, who do you foul in this spot? If you're not able to force a turnover, who do you foul?
If you're the Dolphins, you try and force them to throw it up the floor if you can. Oh boy, Leighton Woods got away with a foul there, Nick.
They did.
Big time. Dolphins playing it out here. How long will they go? And they will foul Gardner.
They were waiting to see initially if they could force a turnover before the 10-second violation. Was not able to do so. And now we'll see Gardner go to the free throw line.
Gardner 2 for 2 at the line tonight. None bigger than these two right here. The building is shaking, and Gardner knocks down the first.
Cool, calm, and collected once again.
He's looking awfully comfortable out there, Nick.
Keep in mind, leading scorer for this Redhawks team off the bench. Been an impressive showing from him.
And Gardner hits both.
Well, they let them play on.
The Dolphins have 2 timeouts, but keep in mind, a timeout does not advance the ball.
And they do call the timeout.
Well, they had 2 to use. They'll take 1 here.
And keep in mind, Joe, they don't have to necessarily go for the 3 right away. Could maybe try to draw up something where you just saw the last possession, where Goldstein maybe could draw some contact or someone else could draw some contact and try to draw an and-1.
Well, they have plenty of capable three-point shooters on this team, Nick. You lost J.J. Chestnut to the 5th foul moments ago. I don't know that you have really any option now but to put the ball in Goldstein's hands to start things.
But here's the problem, Joe, also. With both teams in the double bonus, and when you're up 3, the common rule is if you're up 3, you foul. So if I'm Roberts Wesleyan, how much time do you wait before you maybe try to draw free throws?
That is a great question. My philosophy is as much time as you think it would take them to go the full length of the court, that's how much time you wait. So if you think it takes them 5 seconds to get up the court, you foul with 5 seconds.
They're going to leave Eric Ty and Tadej Sakone up the court.
Theoretically, you foul with 4 seconds if you think it will take them 5.
Right.
But we'll see what they do. Dolphins have Benedict and Goldstein lined up along the baseline. .4 to go, and the shot clock is off. Roberts leads it by 3. Season on the line for the Dolphins. Goldstein up the floor. Lost the ball, and it's stolen by the Redhawks.
And I think it was Gardner, Joe, that tipped the pass. He's been very impressive tonight on Goldstein defensively.
Gardner, Nick, has not only been huge offensively with the 19 points, but I said it during the first half, his defense has been a difference maker in this game. And when he checked in off the bench, this game shifted. And the result of a lead for Roberts didn't come immediately, but down the stretch of this game, he's come up big once again as the first free throw is no good.
You see it right there. He got a piece of it with his left hand. Great defensive play by Gardner, but you mentioned it, Joe. Carter missed the first one.
And if he misses the second, it could be an electrifying final 8 seconds. And he misses!
Dolphins have the timeout, Joe, and they'll call it.
And they do call timeout. Now, the way TJ Tibbs reacted, it's as if he thought maybe there should be more time on the clock, or maybe the Dolphins didn't get the timeout in quickly enough. Either way, they put 7 seconds on the clock. And Nick, there is no way I'm letting the Dolphins get a shot off here. No way.
Yeah, if I'm Roberts Wesleyan, as soon as they cross half court, I'm fouling.
I'm not even sure I wait that long, Nick. I can't imagine that the Redhawks allow them to shoot here.
You can't.
And if you're TJ Tibbs, I think you're trying to diagram something.
Now, here's something I want to throw to you, Joe, because we had somewhat of a similar instance a couple years ago. Do the Dolphins have the possession arrow right now?
They do not.
So they cannot do that play we saw a couple years ago with Goldstein airballed the 3 to get them the ball back.
Airballed the free throw.
The free throw, excuse me.
They cannot. That was a good observation there. So if you're the Dolphins now, effectively you have to have a 3. And if you're Roberts Wesleyan, the only thing you need to avoid is fouling them in the act of shooting. So I think if you're the Dolphins, knowing that they're probably going to foul you, you're looking to catch it in a spot where you can shoot.
Regardless of how this outcome comes, Joe, what a great way to end this regular season for us here on Sportsnet.
It's been a blast. Our first home playoff game here at the Tank, and it's lived up to the billing. It's been a lot of fun, but for this men's basketball team, it won't matter if they're on the short end of this result. Dolphin season down to what could be their final possession. Inbound, Wiggin, no foul yet. Goldstein dribbling through traffic, and he took it inside the arc.
Yeah, he was trying to draw. He was trying to keep, go around it. I think initially Gardner had him. It looked like he was tugging on the jersey. The call wasn't made, and then he got fouled a couple seconds after.
Nick, they weren't fouling intentionally. They were going to let the Dolphins play it out.
I think Gardner was initially trying to. He was trying to maybe tug on the jersey, but it wasn't good enough to get the call.
To be fair, and I haven't noticed it, but the spectators have been on him for tugging at the jersey all game.
So now, Joe, I'll make the point in a second. I think you have to intentionally miss.
Well, you could.
I think they're going to, because look at how they're going to set it up. They're going to have Poulin and Kone down underneath.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be an intentional miss, and they're going to try to see if they can get a putback.
They can't airball it, but at least if you miss on purpose, you can foul right away. It is an attempted miss, and it goes to Gardner, and he almost had it stripped away. Wow. Dolphins almost came away with that one, but not quite. And now the Red Hawks will head to the line with a chance to close this one out. 2 free throws end it, Nick.
And lo and behold, who was it again, Joe? It was Gardner that got the rebound on that play.
Dolphins got exactly what they wanted. Goldstein missed it perfectly.
And
he misses the first.
Remember, Dolphins don't have a timeout.
Well, if he misses the second, you may have time to take one step into it, Nick, but then it's a heave. No good.
What happened? There was a stoppage.
I think they called a lane violation, and it almost seemed intentional. I think they're trying to force him to make it. They're trying to force him to make it, Nick. Or perhaps.
I am just as confused.
They're trying to force him to make it with a lane violation, Nick.
So they're just going to keep doing it, huh?
Yep. Yep.
There it is.
I like the play. I like the idea.
Fanatics not happy with the officials as the officials try to give him another free throw. But that was indeed the second one, despite the countless attempts of forcing that lane violation. So here we go, Joe. It's going to come down to this.
Season on the line. The Dolphins will have one final heave with 1 second to go. It's Benedict. Short. And the season ends for CSI men's basketball in heartbreak as Roberts Wesleyan University comes from 16 points down to win it. They take this game on the road in the first round of the ECC Men's Basketball Championship, 79-76.
You have to tip your cap to this Red Hawks team, Joe. They were down really early in this game, down as many as 18 points, exactly similar to what happened the last time the two teams played. And this team came back, and they did it for a couple of big reasons. Three-point shooting was off the charts in the second half. They shot near 52% in this second half. Their defense got some big stops as well. Great bench minutes from Gardner and Lee, and they are moving on to the semifinals.
Well, you take a look at the second half, Nick. That tells the story. Roberts, 52% from the field. In the first half, they attempted 14 threes. In the second half, just 8. And that really turned this game in a different direction. The offensive game plan changed in a big way. They did not settle for as many outside shots in the second half, and I think that really changed the dynamic of this game. They cleaned up the turnovers. The Dolphins got a bit sloppy. They finished the game with 19 turnovers. That's a number that you know they are not happy with. And for CSI, the shooting, it just went away in the second half. Sub 40% overall, just 2 of 11 from downtown. They were great from the free throw line. However, free throws just couldn't carry them to the win in this one, Nick. They didn't do enough from the field, and they got sloppy with the basketball in the moments where it mattered most.
And something that we saw also last game out too, Joe. The Redhawks made that run before the first half ended, and it carried over into the second half. And as you mentioned, eventually those shots were going to start falling for Roberts Wesleyan. They started to fall in the second half. And as you mentioned, CSI not able to get their shots to go in the second half. And as you mentioned too, them able to force the Dolphins to lose the turnover battle after the way this game started. Roberts Wesleyan's first 3 possessions were all turnovers. CSI loses the turnover battle and loses in a heartbreaking way to end their season.
And not to be lost in what is a very difficult defeat for the Dolphins is the fact that for their seniors, their careers come to an end here tonight. J.J. Chestnut fouled out of this game, and of course it's a disappointing end for him, but that is not to overshadow what he accomplished as a Dolphin and what he accomplished this season. Asa Kone transferring over to this program last year. Eric Tynes transferring over to this program. Both massive contributors for the Dolphins as well. And you take a look at the numbers tonight. Tynes with 21, Kone with 13, Goldstein with 17, Chestnut with 14. Certainly no reason for these players to hang their heads after what is undoubtedly a tough loss.
Yeah, it certainly is, Joe. I mean, they have nothing to be ashamed of. An incredible season for this men's basketball team. Third overall seed in the conference. And, they won over 20 games, too. That's something that cannot be ashamed of. You have to, keep your head up at the end of the day. But as you mentioned, a really tough way to end the year. When you're in a playoff game like this, it's never easy to end your season, especially when you're here at your own home court. But a great effort from this Dolphins team in what was an incredible season here at the Tank. And we'll see where this Dolphins program goes next season. But what a game we had here tonight between these two teams. An incredible job for both sides. And congratulations to Roberts Wesleyan as they move on.
I'm not sure there's been a more resilient team in the ECC this year than the Redhawks, Nick. They started just 1-8 in conference play, and their fight for a playoff spot came down to the final seconds of the regular season. They were able to get through D'Youville, and now they go on the road in the first round of the playoffs and avenge a loss to the Dolphins on their home floor last year with a win here at the Tank tonight. And, if you're the Dolphins, of course, it's disappointing to lose this game, but that's not to take away from what they accomplished this season. You mentioned the 20 wins, and this was a team that very much was in the conversation for an NCAA tournament bid, whether or not they won the conference championship. Unfortunately, that goes away with this defeat here tonight. But, again, it was a season for men's basketball that you and I had a blast covering, and as you can hear, it took a toll on my voice tonight.
Certainly has.
It's beginning to go. So we thank everyone who tuned in to follow men's basketball here on CSI Sportsnet all season long. If you're a fan of CSI Athletics, Nick and I, of course, continue our coverage with softball and with baseball coming up this weekend. For fans of Roberts Wesleyan, congratulations to you. More playoff basketball coming up over the weekend in Buffalo as the Redhawks move on to take on St. Thomas Aquinas College in the ECC Men's Basketball Championship semifinal round. That game will tip off on Saturday. I believe the game that they will play in takes place at either 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. Nick's going to pull that up for me, hopefully before we sign off. But it's been a lot of fun covering our first playoff game here at CSI. And for those teams advancing, a lot more excitement to come over the weekend. Nick, you have the start time. It is going to be a 7:30 p.m. start. For the winner of this game, Roberts Wesleyan taking on St. Thomas Aquinas College. You can catch that game on Flow College over the weekend. But until next time, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Nicholas Bavona on the call. Our final score tonight, the Redhawks 79 and the Dolphins 76. This wraps up our men's basketball coverage for the 2025-26 season. However, I will be on the road at Buffalo over the weekend as women's basketball takes the court on Saturday at noon. You can check out audio coverage of that game on the CSI Sportsnet YouTube channel or tune in for live video on Flow College. Until Saturday, everyone, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night.